Wonderful job. Wonderful job. Thank you all. You can be seated. Aren't they great? And remember, they've only had 3 weeks to practice together. So thank you all very much for that. And thank you to those of you who have sacrificed yourselves and are sitting in the sun. we could get a cloud cover, so we'll hold a good thought. But this is a happy day. It's a fun day, and we're here to share this beginning with you, to thank you, and to celebrate this milestone of our work to relieve overcrowding in our county and our district. I'd like to acknowledge and introduce my fellow members of the Board of Trustees and ask them to stand as I introduce them. Vice President Melina Raymond. Trustee Andrew Caudill. Trustee Ellen Minetto. And there is Dr. Angie Taylor, on time. I'd also like to introduce, and Trustee Scott Kelly is also here. All right, they snuck in on me. I'd also like to thank Sparks Councilman Donald Abbott for being with us today. Thank you, Mr. Abbott, for being here. And I'd like to acknowledge representatives from our senatorial offices. Today we have with us Carrie Dermick from Senator Cortez Masto's office. She has a certificate for us. Thank you, Carrie. And Nate Helton from Senator Rosen's office. Thank you very much. We appreciate the acknowledgement. We know this school has already been open to students for about a month, as have 2 other new schools completed this year, Desert Skies Middle School in Sun Valley and Pulakitas Elementary School in the South Meadows. But today is still the mark of a beginning. This first ribbon cutting, get this, first ribbon cutting for a brand new school in 10 years. And that is thanks to you, the voters, and the ballot question that passed less than 3 years ago. And since then, we've obviously been busy building this school, but much more as well. We completed an expansion of Damati Ranch High School and have spent approximately $100 million already upgrading and repairing older schools. And we have touched just about every school at this point. And we will continue to spend at least $40 million every year improving our older schools and bringing them up to par with this beautiful school. There are a lot of people we want to thank and a few perspectives we'd like to share with you. Each of our speakers today will thank a specific person or two, but please know that each speaker and everyone here is thankful to the entire community and everyone who helped us get here. All of that work, the new schools and the repairs would not have been possible without our beloved, we call it the PSORN, the Public Schools Overcrowding and Repair Needs Committee. This independent volunteer group put together the ballot question that enabled us to do all of this. So first, I want to say thank you to Mike Kazmierski, the president and CEO of EDAWN, the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada. And Mike was a champion for building schools for a very long time. He supported prior efforts to get us capital funding. He went to the legislature to help lobby to get the bill passed that created the PSORN, and then he sat on that committee as it created the ballot question, which was called WC1. Once the question was on the ballot, Mike continued his advocacy by supporting SOS Washoe, SOS for Save Our Schools, efforts on the external campaign that helped ensure passage. And Mike, we could not be here without you, and that is an absolute fact. We could not be here without Mike Kazmierski. And I couldn't be happier to ask you to come up to the stage and say a few words.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you all for being here. I'll just take a minute to take you back a few years where we were 4 years ago when, as Katie said, it was 10 years from now we built a new school, but I can tell you we had run out of money to repair our schools. We had asbestos, lead-based paint. We were closing classrooms because the ceilings were leaking, and yet after multiple attempts in this community to raise funding to repair our schools and to build new schools, we had failed time and again. It was time to do something different. And with a whole lot of help, we put together an initiative, and then ultimately we went the community and said, this is important. As an economic development agency, I can tell you the future of our economy starts right here, in our classrooms, in our schools. And if we don't educate our workforce to the level they need to be at, we cannot bring in the quality companies that we need to take this community to the next level. So this was incredibly important to Edon, incredibly important to the community, and I can tell you that we spent a lot of time and energy as a Save Our Schools initiative. We put energy into it. We went out to all the organizations in Edon. We went out to all the businesses and said, this is important to you, and ultimately it was decided by many of the groups, the smaller groups, the families, the parents, even the kids who got out and made it a point to ask our community to step up and do what needed to be done, and that is raise the money to build the 15 new schools. This is one of 3 that are brand new already, and to repair schools that most of you may realize were average age of 50 years or older. If you go into a house that's 50 years old, you know what that feels like. Those are our schools. That's what we were giving our kids. And I can tell you now, this is really a dream come true, not only for the Save Our Schools team, not only for the parents and families that have a future child or grandchild in our schools, but for the entire future of our economy and our community to go ahead and invest in what really is ultimately become the next generation of our region. So as I personally feel proud to be part of that Save Our Schools community, I can tell you it was not one person, it was not 10 people, it was thousands of people who believed, who stepped up, and who got it done. And I want to thank many of you here, part of that initiative. Many of you here either walked or raised money or were a part of that initiative. But what you're seeing now is the realization of a dream. And I want to thank you for that. And certainly thank the school district and all the employees that were a part of it, and the school board who were supportive from day one. So thank you again. It's a proud day to be a part of the Washoe County School District, a part of this community, and again, well done.
Thank you, Mike. You can tell how persuasive he is. He really did make a difference here, and we wouldn't be here without so many community supporters fighting for us. And though by law the school district could not coordinate the campaign, we saw what they accomplished, and they succeeded where so many before had tried and failed. And here we are celebrating this beautiful school. This school is a carbon copy of the new Desert Skies Middle School just over the hill in Sun Valley. These 2 schools were modeled on DePoli Middle School, the last school to be built in Washoe County prior to now. All 3 facilities were designed by Van Wert Bugatti Architects. I see Mr. Van Wert is here, Brad, and I invite you to join me in a round of applause to thank them for this beautiful design. And they've certainly built some other schools for us. They've designed several of our schools. On the way in, Brad said, by the skin of our teeth, we got this school open again this year. And I said, we're running out of skin on our teeth here, getting these schools open in time, but we did it. These projects are highly energy efficient, use materials that will last and save us money in the long run. They were built by local contractors, and around 90% of all the contract value for these schools went to local subcontractors. That's hundreds of jobs. Let's give a round of applause for that. In addition to the hundreds of jobs created by these projects, we pumped almost $200 million into our local economy. So I could go on and on about how great these schools are, but I suppose I should let others speak. I'd like to invite up our wonderful, capable, competent Interim Superintendent, Dr. Kristen McNeil. I also should have said lovely, shouldn't I?
Thank you so much, President Simon Holland. Now, isn't this an exciting day? Yes! Let's rock! This is exciting. Look at all of you. This is amazing. But today is just not about this one building. but about how it fits into all the spaces where our students learn and grow and flourish. The plan was put together for our district-wide needs that led to the building of this school, was a big part of the reason why I believe our community had enough faith in us to pass the ballot question. There was a clear demonstration of need for our schools and a clear plan for how we would address it and be accountable to it. That plan took a lot of work, and by many, many people contributed to that plan. However, there is one man who led those efforts more than any other, and probably one of the most honorable people I have ever had the honor of working with. And that is Mr. Pete Etchart, our Chief Operating Officer. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Etchart. He's standing back there without his bow tie. Pete looks very nice in a bow tie. After that plan was put into place and the ballot question was passed, that's when the work really started. We hadn't even opened a school in 10 years, as President Simon Holland mentioned, and there was a huge lift to get everything ready on time. But you know, it's just not about this building. So much goes into getting the systems, the furniture, the textbooks, the technology, the software, all of the academic needs that really make a school a school. It's truly hard to describe. I want to thank the huge group of district staffers that came together every 2 weeks. We met on a consistent basis to put together the plans for Sky Ranch, Desert Skies, and Nick Polikitas schools. But it would not work without all of our students and teachers as well. But perhaps principal among them, and yes, that's a pun that was written down for me, I'd like to thank Gina Leonard, somebody who I've also had the honor to work with many, many years. Gina is a dedicated professional. She loves children. She loves middle school students. And Gina was hired actually a year before the school ever even broke ground. Some folks might think that a principal with no students has a pretty cushy job. Well, let me tell you, that's not the case. Principal Leonard has worked so incredibly hard to get this school ready with her students and her teachers. Gina, thank you so much. Please come up and say a few words.
Oh, wow. Okay, sorry I'm not taller, so you can see me over this, but today is a somewhat emotional day for me because, like she said, I was hired a year in advance of this, and the last 3 weeks has been an amazing end of one journey and beginning of the next journey as we've watched everything fall into place, get put away, unpacked, all those wonderful things. So again, thank you, thank you. Bear with me. I get to thank a bunch of people today because nothing happens by myself. One, I need to thank the bosses that had the confidence in me to do this job and then stood by me the entire way and held my hand or dragged me through a few things as needed, but always supportive. So thankful for all the work that goes in that year that I didn't have to do it alone. So my comrades, Laura Peterson at Desert Skies and Dawn Ngati at Nick Polikitas, we did this job together. Huge thank you to Capital Projects and Adam Searcy and Tony McMillan and Tammy Zimmerman and Lindsay Trillia, who took 1,000 emails and phone calls and panic attacks and said, it'll be fine, we'll take care of it, and got us into this building. With that being said, Core Construction, who is all here. I can't thank you all enough for the beautiful building that was designed by VWB and put together the way it was put together for kids in our community, because that's really what the point of this building is that our kids have a place to learn in the 21st century. What an incredible group of people between capital projects and core construction to be able to work and put this going forward. Probably the most rewarding piece of this last year has been able to put my staff together. And I got to start that last December when I picked my office and my administrative staff. So Mr. Jason Shipman and Mrs. Jill Bayless, who are my assistant principals, nothing like I said before, nothing that happens by myself. I do this because of a team. We started with an incredible lead department and then got to hire close to 60 employees. The building is beautiful, but it boils down to the people that are in the building and the relationships that they build with our kids, and building that part of the staff has been the most incredible experience and the most rewarding, because the people in this building actually like kids. They actually come to work so that they can build up our students so that they can make a difference in our 21st century world. And it is the most rewarding piece of my career of 26 years with Washoe County School District that I have been able to do. And I can't thank the staff, and I mean everyone from my custodial crew who, until you've seen what a building needs to be unpacked, and the hundreds of pallets of things that get unpacked in about 2 weeks before school started, everywhere from the custodial to the grounds crew to the kitchen to the office staff, and then the teachers who came on their own time and unpacked classrooms and got ready because kids were coming on August 12th, whether we were ready for them or not, and we were ready. And it's because they are so excited to be in a building with like-minded colleagues and kids that are excited to be here. I have to thank our community of parents who have shown great patience and understanding as we've muddled through traffic jams and technology issues, and I appreciate all those things. As they fall into place, things get smoother, but the atmosphere in the building is for your kids, and it is the most rewarding piece of watching it after 3 weeks and having the halls filled, and I mean filled to the brim, is that they're happy. Kids are happy at school, and our teachers are happy, and they are getting an incredible education for our 21st century. As an entire community, I can't thank WC1 enough because this does solve some of our overcrowding issues, and we have long ways to go, but our community is growing and we are ready to grow with it. My last remarks are a little personal for my family, and I just want to thank all of them because most of them are here. Some of them are here. My sister was the one that opened that last building 10 years ago and led the way for me. Always been my touchstone and told me, yes, you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. You can do this better every time. My mom and dad for being the role models that they are, that tell you to get in there, do it hard, and smile. If you're not laughing at this job, you're doing it wrong, because there is some funny stuff every day. To my husband and my daughters for always, always, always understanding why I never come home at night or came home really, really late and said, yeah, I don't care about dinner. Who, dragged me out of bed in the morning and send me off to work. I love them immensely, but those relationships and those people that built me up are the reason why I get to do this, and hopefully I get to build that up in our staff, because the bottom line is that this building isn't about me. It is about our community and our kids and the staff members that come here every day and take care of kids, because it's the best thing to do in the world. So thank you very, very much for coming today.
I'm such a baby. When she starts crying, I'm going to start crying too. It's just, oh, thank you so much, Gina. And, I was here last Friday visiting with Gina, and I am kidding you. She literally was floating through the hallway. She was so happy. And you walked into the classroom, and the teachers are happy, and the students are happy. And I was like, well, what about this? Oh, it's okay. It's going to work out. It's all fine. So thank you for all you do. And, when we're talking about a building, and this is the reason why we're here, is it not? These guys over here, our students. Can we give them a round of applause as well? And we're building these schools for the right reason. We're building it for our students. We're building them for our staff. And so I want to introduce somebody that is able to go with both of these types of groups. She is both a parent and has a student here, and she is a staff member as well with Sky Ranch. And so I would like to welcome Sarah Kwasna. Please come up.
Thank you. I didn't practice with a microphone, but I have one in my classroom, so I feel prepared. My name is Sarah Kwasna, and I teach English Language Arts here at Sky Ranch Middle School. Gina asked me to speak today because I'm also the proud parent of a Thunderbolt. My daughter Peyton, sitting in the front row, is in the 6th grade, and she's one of the reasons that I decided to make Sky Ranch my second home. When I left my previous school, my colleagues were shocked, but the decision wasn't a difficult one. To be given the opportunity to work at the same school my daughter would attend, alongside some of the best educators in the district, in a state-of-the-art facility, really was a dream come true. From the moment I accepted the position, everyone told me how much work it would be. But the idea of working hard alongside other hardworking individuals invigorated me. It was hard work that would better our community. It was the kind of work that was going to benefit our children. This is the kind of work where you reap more than you sow. This beautiful building that you see before you today would not be possible without that same hard work from many different people, beginning with the Board of Trustees, who followed through on their promises from the ballot question, and extending to the parents who volunteered to put in countless unpaid hours campaigning so that teachers like me could have a better working environment and our children could have a better place to learn. And of course, that vision came to life when core construction got the building ready in time for students and staff to continue to do the work. On behalf of all of the teachers and students who also call the Sky their home, I'd like to say thank you for being a great partner for our school. As a mother, I know how important it is to feel like your children are in the right hands when they go to school. In the 3 short weeks since our school has been in session, I've seen a change in not only my own daughter, but many of her friends. As our fearless leaders of tomorrow, the students of Sky Ranch are already taking flight. From STEM labs to graphic design, from orchestra to 21st century media, from every classroom within these walls, they are developing the skills that they will need to be successful, lifelong learners. As our students begin to soar, I know that the hard work is only going to continue. But to everyone who made this school possible, I would like to say thank you for giving us our wings.
So finally, I just want to say thank you to all of our staff and our schools for making do for so long. With the passage of WC1, help us finally hear and look at what that has produced. Look at this facility. Look at this beautiful, beautiful school that is here for our students and our families and our staff. And with that, I'd like to welcome up Trustee Andrew Cottle, who's going to do some wrap-up remarks.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am really excited for this school. We all know how badly it was needed in this area that is growing so fast. These 51 classrooms, plus the gym and other physical education areas, give us not just the ability to relieve overcrowding, but also more options for education. Music rooms, special education rooms, art rooms, language rooms, flexible maker spaces, collaboration areas. This will be more than just a building. It will be a space for children to learn and grow. This and the other 2 new schools we opened this year, Nick Polikitis Elementary School in South Reno and Desert Skies Middle School in Sun Valley, serve over 3,000 students. What's just as important to know is that with the rezoning opportunities they created, These 3 new schools have allowed us to relieve overcrowding at 25 additional schools and have positively impacted over 15,000 students. Thank you to everyone mentioned so far and so many others. We have been and will be instrumental in making this a reality. So enough talking about it. You can see the school behind me, and as soon as we cut the ribbon, we invite you to join us inside for an open house style look at some of these spaces in this beautiful school. I'd like to invite my fellow trustees to please come grab a pair of scissors and stand behind the ribbon. All of our speakers are invited to head over for scissors as well, and also those students and staff members Principal Leonard has invited. Core Construction, thank you for building this school. Please send up your representatives as well. And we'd love to have someone from the architects. Van Werpegati, please come up as well. Capital Project staff, please join us, and any members of the Capital Funding Protection Committee. Finally, other elected officials who are here, please join us in the ribbon-cutting line. To provide some music for the occasion, we welcome and thank the Sky Ranch Middle School Band under the direction of Mrs. Patricia Hudson. One of our staff members will count us down, then everyone cut at once. Feel free to keep your scissors and a piece of the ribbon. Thank you all very much for coming.
One, two, three, cut!